All right, everybody, welcome back to another edition of Scarlet N Great here on YouTube. And this is the midweek show. Coach and the Bullet, thank you so much for joining us. We have beardless Zach Smith from Menace to Sports coming over to talk to us about the Ohio State football team. And as a former coach who coached with people on that staff, I will tell you, nobody is going to know what's going through the coaches' minds and what they are doing like this guy, bar none. Which way? Which way am I pointing? Right here, right over here. Best analyst in college football. No one analyzes and knows the games like he does. There are people out there that knows the game like he do, but they're so rich they don't care to do a podcast.
Right. I mean, you said the I guess the best analyst in college football. I'm not in college football, so maybe the best analyst not in college football.
Right. Yes, the best the best guy who analyzes college football, wherever that may be. He is right over there. Thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Help us get these subscriptions up. As we are here in football season, we'll continue to crank out great content for you. Real quick, guys, for this Oregon game, we're going to talk about this. Like this video. If you think, again, that Ohio State's going to be just fine in this game, comment. If you're very concerned and you think there's real issues here, that Oregon is going to do something to maybe expose the Buckeyes, this is your chance to sound off. All right. Zach, we do have an event this Saturday for the Oregon game, and if you are in driving distance of Columbus, they should absolutely come see us, do a pregame show. Who cares about big noon kickoff, where we're going to do a show right there live in front of everybody. All you can eat. It's going to be a fun time for the whole family. And B. Raxton Miller, spin move himself, will be there to hang out with us.
It's going to be exciting, man. I'm really excited about it. Not to mention that that the big noon kickoff is not the same without Urban Meyer, right? So why would you want to see that? I mean, it's going to be fun, though. It's going to be a great time. You and I are going to do a pregame show. We got a DJ, a very, very popular DJ in Columbus, and really just an awesome kind of schedule of events. Most importantly, a big win over Oregon, right?
Yep. And you'll find the description of this show. You can find a place to get your tickets there. Also, you check out my social media, Zach's social media. DM me on Twitter at Scarlet Great JL if you would like. And I will get you the link as where you would like it to go. Buckeye Nation, thank you so much while I have you here for all your generous donations, thoughts, prayers, kind words to Florida Corey in the passing of his father. We are all grieving with him. Just terrible what happened. What a huge Buckeye fan the guy was, though. Corey jokingly said he might wear a Buckeye jersey to his dad's memorial because his dad, at one point, no joke, wore a Buckeye jersey to his friend's wedding. So it would be very, very fitting. So anyway, Zach, coach of the Bullet, I want to know inside the mind of the coaches. All right, Ryan Day having the coaches together for this Oregon game, for adjustments, for those types of things. There was actually, I think, a post somewhere that came out that said Kerry Coombs was somewhat happy with how things unfolded. And again, this is stuff that I don't take it all with a grain of salt, right? And then when it got to coaches meeting, that Ryan Day was basically, he let it be known, no, it is not okay how things unfolded on the defensive side of the ball. Zach, what might a head coach in between week 1 and 2 tell the defensive coordinator about substitutions, about all these things? How much autonomy does he take away and freedom does he take away? What will he demand these coaches do better?
It's not about taking away freedom, right? It's not about really anything other than how to motivate your staff as a head coach, right? Urban Meyer was exceptional at it, and Ryan Day is at least equally as good. And that is, how do you make your staff do things the way you want them done, right? And I don't believe for a minute that Kerry Coombs left the game or watched the film and said, man, we did great. I know Kerry. He's very hard on himself. He's very reflective. He's also very, I don't want to say cocky. He's also very confident and has a very positive outlook on life, right? He wakes up every day. He told me this, wakes up every day, gets out of bed, before he gets his butt out of bed, he claps his hands and goes, let's go. And it's like he just has such a positive mindset that he probably took the positives from the game and accentuated them. And Ryan Day, whether he responded positively or negatively, it was all about how to motivate Kerry and the defensive staff to right the ship, right? How Ryan wanted it done. So that is definitely, I mean, coming from my perspective, that is definitely playing only the best players, not rotating as much, right?
Okay.
Not worrying about what the offense is doing as much as just, you watch Georgia, they are just absolutely in slaughter mode. Like, it's like, where do you line up? Where do you motion? It doesn't matter. Effort and just savagery will fix it all. And that's what they did. And so I think that's where Ryan is at. And I think, and I'm, if there was any type of disagreement, I promise you it lasted 2 minutes. And then they were on the same page and Kerry was reared up and ready to go.
Yeah. And that's, you simplify the game, right? You say, okay, maybe one of these other linebackers is better in coverage than the starter. However, I expect and demand my starter to know based on what snap to snap, he might have to play run support, he might have to play coverage. That's just part of it. If you're one of my best 11, I just throw you out there and leave you there till you're tired.
Well, yeah. And I mean, the other side of it is, right, I believe in a rotation. Anybody that knows my career, I played 6 guys, but only 6 guys when we had 6 guys. In 2012, I played 4 guys. In 2013, I played 4 or 5, right? Like, if I had 6 guys I trusted, I wanted to play 6 to keep them fresh. And I think that's where they kind of got off base on Thursday night, is because they literally played 3rd string, 4th string corners. And it's like, you can't do that in a conference game. Against Bowling Green, you could.
Yeah. But not that early, too.
Yeah, not that early, right?
And you're starting, okay, so with the bullet, with the smaller linebacker out there playing Ronnie Hickman at Sam, you start basically 2 mics, right? Because that Will's playing a second mic, and it's Tommy Eichenberg, who will be a fine player one day, but he's a freshman. You got plenty of other upperclassmen.
Right?
Not yet. Not snap one. And then, Legend Cavazos and all these. So I do believe that, Ryan can say something in a constructive way, right? That says, not yet. Exactly what you said. Right. Substitute when you need to. But this was not, conference game is not see what you got.
No.
Not while the game's still competitive.
And you know what? You saw it on offense too. Why are we giving all 4 running backs the first 4 series? Like, you certainly came out of training camp and had an idea who your 1A, 1B, and 2 was, right? Like, you knew your top 3 running backs. Why are we throwing a 4th in there in a conference game early in the game? Like, if it goes well and in the 3rd quarter or even the 2nd quarter, if you're up 2 scores, maybe throw a guy out there, right? But when it's close, just not the way I would do things. And I know not the way that Ryan Day wants to do things.
Well, it's funny because at receiver, where you do probably have the most depth, the rotation was the most limited at first because the game wasn't in hand yet.
Right. And it goes back to a coach, right? Who are you confident in playing?
Right.
Like, when a game is tight, I wanted only guys that I knew if something happened, they would make the block or make the play, right? If you're not willing to put your children's livelihood, your job, your salary on that kid making that play, why are they in the game in a close game? It happened to me one time. Dontre Wilson was in the game and Urban didn't have trust in him. And I kind of did. I was building trust in him. And we threw a play. We called a play that was going to be thrown to Dontre. And he looked at me like, why is he in there? And I looked at him. I said, because I want him in there. And, it was a contentious moment. And sure enough, Dontre made the play. Thank God. Because if he didn't, it would have been a very abrasive meeting on Sunday had he not. And that's what coaches go through, right? Your job is on the line. Every time it's a critical situation and you have a kid in the game, the question is going to be, why is that kid in the game? Right? If it's up to 14 points, okay, that might not be the conversation. But if it's tie game, 3-point game, it's going to be, why is that kid in there?
Yep. Okay, real quick, an X's and O's question submitted from my friend B. Moses. I gave a group of my friends the private opportunity to ask you a question on the show, and he wanted to know, do you think of the Ohio State coaching staff, because Oregon's got some dudes in the front 7, are they concerned about blitz pickup, and what might they be doing to drill for that and counter for that?
I'm going to be honest though. If they're worried about blitz pickup, it's about the quarterback's comprehension of getting the protection right. They're not worried about the ability in pass pro. I mean, the pass pro was outstanding by Ohio State on Thursday. Granted, Minnesota doesn't have freaky athletes rushing the quarterback, but if Kayvon Thibodeau's out, and there's talks of other people being out, that I'm not a rumor mill guy, but I don't think they're concerned about it. They have 4 NFL starters on the offensive line. They have a great tight end in Jeremy Ruckert. They have another great tight end in Cade Stover. And Mayan Williams was really good in pass pro. I don't think they're worried about it as long as the pass pro is directed in the right directions. And I know for a fact they have some really strong keys in the blitz game from Oregon. So I don't think they're worried about it. You're always worried about it, but I don't think they're overly worried about it as long as CJ Stroud can manage it all.
So maybe a little extra drilling on your blitz pickup key, call outs by the quarterback, and knowing what's hot.
Yeah, and just it's teaching, right? Just teach him more. The biggest improvement, and now it's cliche nowadays. The biggest improvement of a player or team is week 1 to week 2. CJ Stroud is going to learn so much from finally throwing a collegiate pass, right? From finally running an offense, that I think you're going to see a much better version of him. And part of that is running the show, directing protections, picking up blitzes. Like, that is what a big time quarterback does. And it's just because you're a rookie doesn't matter anymore.
Yep. Okay. So I got to get into this, and I want to choose my words carefully because I don't want to disparage a man who has forgotten more about football than I will ever know. Okay. But Buckeye fans and even myself have been openly critical of Kerry Coombs and the defense the last 2 years. I didn't think the defense was awful, but I thought there were some head scratching moments. And then when you couple that with, okay, we already had our doubts because of last year.
Yeah,
then
that's the problem.
That's what made Thursday look worse.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's what made Thursday look worse, because we're looking at it with those opposite of rose-colored glasses, right?
Whatever that is, right?
Right.
That's
yeah. So I'm wondering now. Oregon has an offensive coordinator by the name of Joe Moorhead.
Yeah.
I'm not a football savant, but from what I think and what I saw him do with Saquon Barkley in Penn State, and maybe that's a cheat code, the guy was a good offensive mind. I'm not too up on his career at Mississippi State, but I think he is a good offensive mind. If there is an advantage in the cat and mouse game, is it advantage Joe Moorhead over the inexperienced Kerry Coombs at this moment in time?
Well, I mean, coaching is about personnel, right? So no, the advantage is Kerry Coombs all day long. Kerry
because
Coombs
the dudes.
he has a better personnel. I mean, he could run a basic defense and already have the advantage. Joe Moorhead is at a disadvantage immediately. That doesn't mean he's not going to have great schemes or great plan. What do you mean? PJ Fleck had an outstanding plan for Ohio State. And if you listen to my show, I will not give PJ Fleck credit unless it is just like overly earned. And his game plan on offense was outstanding. And I mean, we watched it, right? The run game, the things they did, they made it hard on Ohio State. And Ohio State had much superior athletes outside of Mo Ibrahim, which we know is a great player, but they made it hard on him. So Joe Moorhead will make it hard on Kerry Coombs and that defense, but that defense has better players. As long as those players, the right players, are on the field, and as long as those players play with swagger, confidence, and aggression, and kind of the leash off, right? You unleash them and let them just go. Then this is not even going to be close. It's not going to be even a fun game. It's going to be a 14-point game in the second quarter, and it's just going to get worse if that happens. That has to happen, though.
Right. So if I'm reading this right, maybe Joe Moorhead schemes something where Kerry guesses wrong, and just like remember the Titans, and he's reading your mail, coach, right?
Right.
So maybe there's a time or two where Joe schemes something open, but in the whole game, if Kerry lets his guys eat, it won't matter.
It won't matter. It won't. I mean, unless they just are so cookie cutter and by the book and just do what they've done for, I don't know, a year and a half, then there could be some problems, right? But I don't see how that happens.
Right. Zero adjustment, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Like keep chasing motion guys like Devontae Smith wasn't born. Like that never happened, right? If we keep
no rocking and rolling, none of that.
Yeah, if we don't rock and roll, if we don't do something, maybe play a little zone. Like, I don't know. Like, if we don't switch that stuff up, which I don't see happening. But if we don't, then yeah, they might be able to scheme Ohio State up and really cause some problems. But I don't see that happening. I don't think that's reality. I think that it'll be, I think this will be kind of a breath of fresh air for Buckeye fans defensively specifically, because I think Kerry and his staff will make the adjustments. They already dealt with a brutal offseason, both from fan pressure. Ryan was on them. I think they'll get it right and get it right pretty quick.
Okay. Closing thoughts. I was on the, I think, Ducks and Dogs podcast yesterday. I gave my score prediction, 38-24 Buckeyes. Again, uncomfortable for 2.5 quarters. And then ultimate, I basically picked the same game that happened Thursday night, but with different players.
Really bold of you, Johnny.
Yeah. Same game that happened because my eyes have seen one thing. So I think, Oregon's good enough to keep it close and frustrate us at times. Then we pull away with big talent late. What's your score prediction, Zach?
I mean, honestly, I think it's 45-21. I think this covers the spread. I think Ohio State wins convincingly. And I honestly don't think that's as much a testament to a dominant Ohio State as it is to they improve. Oregon's not as good as we thought. And it's a good 24-point win. I think at home, first time with a crowd, like it's 45-21, right in that ballpark.
Nice. All right, guys, you heard it here first from the best analytical mind in not college football
to ever be born.
Beardless Zach Smith, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you here next time, and I hope to see you Saturday. If you're not there Saturday, you won't be able to tell your grandkids you were there. You'll have to tell them how you were a Johnny-come-lately and missed out. See you next time, guys. Goodbye. God bless, and go Bucks.